She used to run $1 million company. Her name was on the building. People stood when she walked in the room. But one rainy morning, the woman who once gave orders was sitting on a park bench, holding a torn handbag, and wondering where it all went wrong. She had lost everything: her business, her home, her friends, and most painfully, her faith in people. And that's when a janitor, a man most would walk right past, changed her life in a single act of kindness. Hey friends, welcome back to your channel name, where we share real stories that touch your heart and remind you of the good still left in this world. If you believe kindness can change lives, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below with your thoughts at the end of this story. Your support helps us share more stories like this one with people everywhere. Her name was Claire Dalton, and for most of her life, she believed success was everything. She built her company, Dalton Dynamics, from her tiny apartment in Chicago. She slept on her office couch, drank cold coffee, and worked 20-hour days just to prove she could do what everyone said she couldn't. By the time she was 40, she had everything she thought she wanted. A penthouse overlooking Lake Michigan, a team of 200 employees, and articles written about her in business magazines calling her the Queen of Efficiency. But when you build your world only on money and status, one wrong move can make it crumble overnight. It started with a bad investment. Then a scandal she didn't even cause. Her financial officer was caught embezzling millions, and the company's name was dragged through the mud. Within months, she lost clients, investors, and everything she had built. She tried to fight back, but the stress broke her down. Her health began to fail, and soon, she was forced to sell everything just to pay her legal fees. When the final papers were signed, she packed a small suitcase and left her glass office for the last time. No one stopped her. No one even looked up. The woman who once led hundreds of people walked out the front doors alone. Weeks turned into months. Claire rented a tiny apartment outside the city, trying to rebuild her life. But depression is heavy. It's not easy to start again when you've lost your sense of purpose. She applied for dozens of jobs, but no one wanted to hire a former CEO with a controversial past. She tried smiling through it, but inside, she felt invisible. One evening, she found herself sitting in a nearly empty diner, staring at a cup of coffee she couldn't afford. Her hands shook as she opened her wallet. Inside were 3 crumpled dollar bills. That's when a man in a gray janitor's uniform walked past her table, pushing a mop bucket. He was tall, maybe mid-40s, with kind eyes and a tired face. He noticed the look in her eyes, the same kind of exhaustion he'd once known too well. He smiled gently and said, "Rough day?" Claire tried to smile back. "Rough year," she replied. The man chuckled softly and nodded. "Yeah, I know those." He disappeared for a moment and came back with a plate of pancakes and bacon. "Here," he said. "On the house. The cook's my cousin. I told her it was for a friend." Claire blinked in surprise. "You don't even know me." He shrugged. "Don't need to. You look like someone who could use a warm meal and a kind word." She wanted to say no, but hunger and humility made her accept. As she ate, he sat down across from her and started talking. His name was Tom Bennett. He was a single dad raising his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, after losing his wife in a car accident 3 years earlier. Tom told her about how he used to have a small construction business but lost it during the pandemic. He had to start over as a janitor just to keep a roof over Lily's head. "It's not about what you lost," he said quietly. "It's about what you choose to give, even when you don't have much left." Those words stuck with her. Claire had spent her life giving orders, not kindness. And now, this janitor, this humble man who made barely enough to live, was teaching her what real wealth looked like. A few days later, Tom found her sitting outside the diner again. He waved and handed her a cup of coffee. "You look like someone who needs good news," he said. Claire laughed softly. "Do you have any?" Tom smiled. "Well, my daughter just got straight A's. That's good enough for both of us." As they talked, he learned she had once been a CEO, and she learned he worked night shifts at a cleaning company that handled office buildings downtown. He mentioned how his company was always struggling with outdated scheduling and payroll systems. Claire's mind sparked for the first time in months. She used to build systems like that in her sleep. She grabbed a napkin and started sketching out a simple software idea that could automate his company's scheduling and payments. Tom looked at it, impressed but doubtful. "Looks great, but I can't afford fancy tech like that." Claire smiled for the first time in a long while. "You don't have to. Just give me a laptop and a little time." Over the next few weeks, Claire worked from the diner, coding late into the night with borrowed Wi-Fi and coffee refills. Tom would stop by after his shifts, bringing her snacks and cheering her on. Sometimes, his daughter Lily would join them, drawing pictures while Claire worked. Slowly, the software started to take shape. Tom's boss agreed to test it out, and within a month, it saved the company thousands of dollars in lost hours and errors. Word spread, and soon, other small cleaning businesses wanted the same system. Tom insisted on giving Claire a share of the profits, but she refused at first. He told her, "You gave me hope when I didn't ask for it. Let me give you something too." Together, they built a small startup, Simple Shift Solutions, aimed at helping blue-collar workers manage their schedules, pay, and benefits with ease. It wasn't glamorous, but it was meaningful. And for the first time, Claire wasn't chasing wealth, she was chasing purpose. As the company grew, Claire became part of Tom and Lily's little family. They'd share meals, laugh together, and talk about life beyond business. She learned to slow down, to find joy in small things, like Lily's school plays or the sound of rain against the window. One evening, after a long day at their small office, Tom found Claire sitting quietly by the window. He asked what she was thinking about. She smiled softly and said, "For years, I thought power was about control. But now I know, real power is kindness. It's what rebuilds people when the world tears them down." Tom smiled back. "Then I guess we're both pretty powerful now." Years later, Simple Shift Solutions became one of the fastest-growing tech platforms for small businesses in the U.S. Claire never took her name off the company this time, but she also never forgot who helped her start again. In every office they opened, there was a plaque on the wall that read, "Kindness built this." When journalists asked about her comeback, Claire always told the same story. It wasn't a comeback. It was a second chance, and it started with a janitor who decided to care. Kindness doesn't need money. It doesn't need power or fame. Sometimes, it's just a warm plate of pancakes, a simple conversation, or believing in someone who's lost hope. Claire and Tom's story reminds us that one small act can ripple farther than we ever imagine. The woman who thought she had lost everything discovered something far greater, the power of compassion and human connection. So if you're listening to this right now, remember this. You might not be able to fix someone's world, but you can change their moment, and sometimes, that's all it takes to change their life. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could use a little hope today. Because kindness is the one thing that never runs out when we give it away.